Hey all, my name is Jenna Smurs, and today I'm going to be book talking 3 books featuring one of my favorite tropes, the Sweet Polly Oliver. Quick clarification for those who have never heard of this trope. Sweet Polly Oliver is where a female identifying person disguises herself as male, the reasons for which can vary. Now, one classic example of this that you might have heard of is the story of Mulan, where Mulan disguises herself as a male soldier in order to take her father's place when he gets called to serve in the Chinese army. For those of you who I guess didn't watch Disney movies as a kid, this trope is also present in Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, along with the contemporary movie adaptation, She's the Man. Now that we're all caught up with what we're talking about, let's dive right in. The Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamora Pears is near and dear to my heart, and one of my absolute favorite examples of classic fantasy. The first book, which is titled Alanna, the First Adventure, starts out when Alanna is 10 years old, though by the end of the series she's actually in her 20s. Alanna lives in a world where men go off to be knights, and women go to convents to learn magic and religion. The thing is, Alanna has absolutely zero interest in magic, and instead yearns to become a famous knight. Her twin brother Tom, on the other hand, is, well, somewhat lacking in the athletic skills department, but is fascinated by the arcane. So, to remedy this situation, the two decide to disguise themselves, pull the old switcheroo, and change places. What follows is a story of adventure and magic, friendship and treachery. Alanna has to fight tooth and nail to claim a place for herself in a profession where everyone says women have no business being in, and she intends to do that very thing, even if it kills her. In later books, we also get a snarky talking cat companion and meddling gods, and that's just always fun. Another great thing about this series, if you finish it and find yourself thinking, but I want more, well, guess what? There's plenty more. Tamora Pears has written tons of excellent classic YA fantasy, all set in the Tortall universe. So, sometimes you even get some of your favorite characters crossing over into new stories, and isn't that always just delightful when two of your favorite characters get to meet? If you're looking for a good classic YA fantasy novel, I highly recommend checking out Alanna, the First Adventure. Now on to Bloody Jack by L.A. Meyer. Please excuse my subpar Cockney accent, it's just this book is set in London during the 18th century and I couldn't resist. So with this series, L.A. Meyer gives us with some awesome historical fiction. The first book starts when orphan Jackie Faber discovers that the leader of her gang has been killed, and realizes that she needs to find a new crew to keep herself safe. So, she does what any rational person would do, disguises herself as a cabin boy, and joins the crew of the HMS Dolphin. On her adventure, Jackie fights pirates, falls in love, and does her best to keep her secret safe. Part of the fun of this series is that Jackie is a delightfully cheeky narrator, and as such, there's plenty of humor through her narration. Throughout the series, Jackie also travels a lot. So while in this book, Jackie is a more or less legitimate crew member of a government-sanctioned ship, in future books, she ends up becoming a pirate, going to the Americas and traveling down the Mississippi, and even joining Napoleon's army as a spy. If you like historical fiction at all, especially set during the 18th century, I highly recommend looking into Bloody Jack. So for the last book in this talk, we take a step away from the past, fantastical or otherwise, and instead find ourselves in the present, with this contemporary YA novel, Chaotic Good by Whitney Gardner. Now, unlike Alanna and Bloody Jack, both of which I grew up loving, Chaotic Good was a more recent find for me. And folks, this book is a gem. Our main character, Cameron, is an aspiring costume designer who loves to cosplay in her spare time. Being as it's the summer before her senior year in high school, Cameron is doing her best to put together a costume portfolio for college. But, as any artist knows, when putting together a portfolio, you need inspiration. Cameron decides that the place that she wants to find inspiration is comics. But the only trouble is, the local comic book shop, yet not so female-friendly. The first time Cameron tries to visit, she finds herself quizzed and shamed on her geek knowledge, and immediately directed towards the girl section. Yeah. So, when she has to go back to do research for her portfolio, Cameron instead decides to kind of, just sidestep any confrontation and instead borrow her brother's clothes, contour her face to look more male, and just go to the store as a guy patron. And actually, it works. Though maybe a little too well. Cameron finds herself accidentally agreeing to be a part of the comic shop's weekly Dungeons and Dragons campaign along with her brother. And the more she plays, the more she actually starts to consider these guys to be her friends. Now, of course, shenanigans ensue, and you'll have to pick up the book for yourself to see how Cam gets out of her tangled web of lies. This book is about art, it's about feminism, it's about pursuing your dreams, and it's just also about so much wonderful geekiness. There are also included mini comics that go over the group's D&D adventures, and personally, I think that's just an awesome touch. If you're seeking a geeky, contemporary YA novel with maybe a little bit of romance, Chaotic Good by Whitney Gardner is the book you're looking for. And that's my book talk for the Sweet Polly Oliver trope. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm gonna let Sir Peter Pears and Benjamin Britten play me out with their rendition of the song that inspired this trope's name.
The sweet Polly Oliver lay musing in bed. A sudden strange fancy came into her head.